Jack stumbled out of the spaceship, his heart pounding. The alien sky was a strange shade of violet, and the air crackled with unfamiliar energy. He adjusted his backpack, trying to ignore the stares from the gathered crowd. His human features stood out sharply against the exotic forms surrounding him. "Welcome, human," a voice sneered behind him. Jack turned to face a group of towering alien students, their eyes glinting with a mix of curiosity and disdain. One stepped forward, his skin shimmering with a metallic hue. "Ready to prove you're not as primitive as we think?" Jack swallowed hard, but squared his shoulders. "I'm ready to learn and show what humans can do." The aliens snorted. "We'll see." They turned and walked away, leaving Jack to navigate the bustling entrance of the Interstellar High School alone. The school's architecture was breathtakingly alien. Towers spiraled into the sky, and hallways shimmered with shifting lights. Jack felt a mix of awe and intimidation. He had always dreamed of exploring the stars, but being the first human at this elite institution was proving to be more daunting than he had imagined. As he wandered through the halls, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Alien students whispered and pointed, their expressions a mix of amusement and skepticism. Jack clenched his fists, determined to prove himself. In his first class, the teacher, a tall figure with translucent skin, introduced him. "This is Jack, the first human to join our academy. Let's give him a warm welcome." The room fell silent, the students' expressions ranging from indifferent to openly hostile. Jack took his seat, feeling the weight of their stares. The lesson began, covering advanced technologies and concepts that left Jack's head spinning. He scribbled notes furiously, refusing to let himself fall behind. During lunch, Jack found a quiet corner in the cafeteria. As he opened his lunchbox, a shadow fell over him. He looked up to see a group of alien students, including the one who had mocked him earlier. "You're sitting in our spot," the leader said. Jack stood up, his heart racing. "There are plenty of other places to sit." The alien smirked. "But this is our spot. Move." Jack hesitated, then gathered his things and left. As he walked away, he could hear their laughter. He found another table, feeling a mix of anger and humiliation. "Don't let them get to you," a voice said. Jack looked up to see an alien with blue-tinted skin and large, expressive eyes. "I'm Aaron. Not everyone here is a jerk." Jack managed a small smile. "Thanks, I'm Jack." Aaron sat down. "I know. Word travels fast around here. Don't worry, you'll find your place." For the rest of the day, Jack focused on his classes, trying to absorb as much as he could. The technology was far beyond anything he had seen on Earth, but he was determined to understand it. By the end of the day, he was exhausted but felt a flicker of hope. He had survived his first day, and even made a potential friend. Back in his dorm room, Jack unpacked his belongings. He glanced at a photo of his family, their proud smiles reminding him why he was here. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the challenges ahead. He might be an outsider, but he was determined to prove that humans had a place in this interstellar academy. As he lay down to sleep, Jack's thoughts drifted to the day's events. Despite the hostility, he felt a spark of determination. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but he was ready. He closed his eyes, envisioning a future where he would earn his place among the stars. Jack stepped into the grand hall, his breath taken away by the sheer scale and alien beauty of the place. Towering columns glowed with bioluminescent light, casting an ethereal glow over the intricate alien architecture. He felt a mixture of awe and trepidation. This was a far cry from anything he had ever known on Earth. "Welcome to Interstellar Academy," a holographic voice greeted him. "Your first class is quantum mechanics in room 42 Zeta." Jack swallowed hard and navigated the labyrinthine corridors, trying to ignore the stares and whispers from his alien peers. He finally reached the classroom, the door sliding open to reveal a vast room filled with students from across the galaxy. The teacher, an Andronian with multiple shimmering eyes, looked up and paused mid-lecture. The human. The teacher said, his voice resonating with curiosity. Take a seat. Jack moved to an empty spot at the back, trying to make himself as inconspicuous as possible. The lesson continued, delving into concepts far beyond what he had learned back home. His head spun with unfamiliar terminology and advanced equations. Despite his efforts to keep up, he felt increasingly out of his depth. During a break, a student with iridescent skin and 4 arms approached him. You look lost, she said, her voice a melodic hum. I'm Zilora. Do you need help? Jack hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, this is all. Bit overwhelming. Zilora smiled, her eyes shimmering. Don't worry. Everyone feels that way at first. You'll get the hang of it. As the day progressed, Jack encountered more of his alien classmates. Some were curious, others indifferent, and a few openly hostile. In the cafeteria, he picked at his food, feeling isolated and overwhelmed. The bullying group from earlier, led by a massive Scarian with scales like armor, strutted in. They noticed Jack and sauntered over. Enjoying your first day, human, the Scarian sneered, leaning over Jack's table. Looks like you're having trouble with the food. Too advanced for your primitive taste buds. Jack clenched his jaw. I'm managing. The Scarian laughed, a harsh, grating sound. We'll see how long that lasts. With a final sneer, he and his cronies moved on. Zilora sat down next to Jack, offering a sympathetic smile. Don't let them get to you. They pick on anyone they think is different. Jack sighed, feeling a mix of frustration and determination. I didn't come here to be scared off. I'm going to prove I belong. Zilora nodded approvingly. Good, you have more courage than they give you credit for. By the end of the day, Jack was exhausted. He returned to his dormitory, a sleek, futuristic room with a view of the alien skyline. As he collapsed onto his bed, his thoughts swirled. The first day had been harder than he anticipated, but he had also met potential allies. The path ahead was daunting, but Jack felt a flicker of hope. Staring out at the violet sky, he resolved to face the challenges head-on. He had already taken the first step by being here. Now, it was time to find his footing and show everyone, including himself, what a human could achieve in this interstellar academy. With renewed determination, Jack closed his eyes, ready to tackle whatever tomorrow would bring. Jack stood in the middle of the sprawling training arena, his heart hammering in his chest. Students encircled him, their eyes filled with curiosity and doubt. The arena, designed for combat practice, shimmered under the harsh lights, and the air crackled with tension. Begin, the instructor's voice echoed, and the first challenge commenced. Jack's opponent, a massive alien with 6 limbs, lunged at him with incredible speed. Jack dodged, barely escaping a blow that could have flattened him. Adrenaline surged through Jack. He had studied various combat techniques, but facing them was another matter. He relied on his agility and quick thinking. Rolling to the side, he grabbed a training staff and swung it with all his might. The alien blocked it effortlessly, its strength overpowering Jack's. Is that all you've got, human? The alien taunted, its voice oozing disdain. Jack clenched his jaw. Not even close. Changing tactics, Jack targeted the alien's joints, aiming for its weak spots. Each strike was precise and deliberate. The alien stumbled, clearly taken aback by Jack's strategy. But the victory was fleeting. A second alien, quicker and more agile, joined the fight. Jack now faced 2 opponents, both superior in strength and speed. He fought valiantly, using every ounce of his training. But the aliens coordinated their attacks, pushing him to his limits. Sweat poured down Jack's face. His muscles burned, and his movements became sluggish. The crowd watched in silence, waiting for him to fall. Just when it seemed like he couldn't go on, a voice rang out. Jack, focus on their legs. It was Ryloth, one of the few friendly aliens he had met. Jack didn't hesitate. He shifted his attacks, sweeping at their legs. The tactic worked. One alien tripped, crashing to the ground. The crowd murmured in surprise. "Get up, you fool!" the remaining alien shouted at his fallen comrade. Taking advantage of the distraction, Jack swung his staff in a wide arc, catching the standing alien off guard. The alien staggered, giving Jack a brief respite. He took a deep breath, his mind racing for a new plan. The fallen alien rose, fury in its eyes. "You'll pay for that, human." Jack braced himself, ready for the renewed assault. The two aliens attacked with a vengeance, their blows coming fast and furious. Jack's arms ached, his legs felt like lead, but he refused to give up. "Keep moving, Jack. Don't let them corner you." Ryloth's voice was a lifeline. Jack danced around the arena, dodging and weaving, striking whenever he saw an opening. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The aliens' movements became more erratic, their frustration evident. Jack's persistence was wearing them down. With a final burst of energy, Jack launched himself at the nearest alien, delivering a powerful blow to its midsection. The alien crumpled, gasping for breath. The second alien hesitated. A fatal mistake. Jack seized the moment, striking it down with a swift, decisive move. The arena fell silent. Jack stood over his defeated opponents, panting heavily. He had done it. He had faced the challenge and emerged victorious. "Well done, human," the instructor said, breaking the silence. "You've proven yourself today." Jack nodded, exhaustion and pride mingling in his chest. He had taken the first step in earning his place at the Interstellar High School. The road ahead was still long, but for the first time, he felt like he truly belonged. Jack sat in a dimly lit alcove of the school's massive library, his body still sore from the recent combat. Across from him sat Ryloth, a slender alien with shimmering blue skin and eyes that seemed to hold galaxies. "We need a plan," Jack said, his voice low. "I can't keep fighting them head-on. They're too strong." Ryloth nodded. "We need to outthink them, not outfight them. There's a rumor about the bullies. They're hiding something. If we can uncover their secret, we might have leverage." Jack leaned forward, intrigued. "What kind of secret?" "Some say they've been cheating in the academic competitions," Ryloth explained. "If we can prove it, they'll lose their status and face severe consequences." Jack's mind raced. "How do we get the evidence?" Ryloth glanced around, ensuring no one was eavesdropping. "There's a storage room in the East Wing where they meet. I've seen them go in and out, usually late at night. If we can sneak in, we might find something." Jack nodded. "Tonight, then. We'll go together." That evening, the school was eerily quiet as Jack and Ryloth made their way to the East Wing. The corridors were bathed in the soft glow of moonlight filtering through the windows. They moved silently, their footsteps barely a whisper. When they reached the storage room, Ryloth produced a small device from his pocket. "This will override the lock," he whispered, working quickly. The door clicked open, and they slipped inside. The room was cluttered with various pieces of equipment and stacks of papers. Jack began sifting through the documents while Ryloth kept watch. After several tense minutes, Jack found a folder labeled Academic Records. "Look at this," Jack said, opening the folder. Inside were detailed records of the competitions, complete with altered scores and fabricated results. "This is it. We've got them." Ryloth nodded, a satisfied smile spreading across his face. "We need to get this to the headmaster. This will bring them down." As they turned to leave, the door suddenly swung open, and the lead bully, Zarnak, stood blocking their path, flanked by his cronies. His eyes narrowed at the sight of Jack holding the incriminating folder. "Thought you could outsmart us, human," Zarnak sneered. "You've just made the biggest mistake of your life." Jack's heart pounded, but he stood his ground. "We have proof. It's over for you." Zarnak laughed, a cold, menacing sound. "You think this little stunt will stop us? We'll crush you before you get the chance." Raloth stepped forward. Not if we expose you first. Zarnak lunged at Jack, but Jack was ready. He dodged to the side, using the narrow space to his advantage. Raloth engaged the other bullies, using his agility to evade their attacks. Go, Jack. Get this to the headmaster. Raloth shouted. Jack bolted from the room, clutching the folder. He raced down the corridors, his pulse whirring in his ears. Behind him he heard the sounds of the struggle, but he couldn't stop now. Everything depended on getting this evidence to the headmaster. Bursting into the headmaster's office, Jack found the stern figure working late. Headmaster, you need to see this, Jack said, thrusting the folder into his hands. The headmaster scanned the documents, his expression darkening. This is serious. Thank you, Jack. You've done the right thing. As security officers were dispatched to deal with the bullies, Jack felt a wave of relief. He had taken a significant step in securing his place at the school, not through brute force, but by using his intelligence and determination. For the first time, he truly felt like he belonged. The high-stakes academic competition was in full swing. The grand hall buzzing with excitement and tension. Students from various advanced civilizations filled the seats, their eyes fixed on the stage where contestants faced a series of grueling tests. Jack stood among them, his heart pounding, but his resolve firm. The first challenge was a complex mathematical puzzle, projected on a massive screen. Jack's fingers flew over the digital tablet, his mind working through the equations with precision. He could feel the weight of every gaze on him, some skeptical, others hopeful. Time's up, the instructor announced. Jack submitted his solution, glancing sideways at his competitors. Zarnak, the lead bully, sneered at him from a few seats away. The results flashed on the screen. Jack's name appeared at the top, a perfect score. Murmur of surprise rippled through the audience. Zarnak's face twisted with rage. Next was a physical challenge. Jack and the other contestants were led to a large arena filled with obstacles. The goal was to navigate the course as quickly as possible, demonstrating both agility and strategy. As the signal sounded, Jack sprang into action. He ducked under low beams, vaulted over barriers, and swung across chasms. His movements were fluid, driven by a mix of adrenaline and determination. He could hear the crowd's cheers and gasps, a blend of support and disbelief. Halfway through, Zarnak appeared beside him, trying to shove him off course. Jack sidestepped, using the momentum to push ahead. "Is that all you've got, Zarnak?" Jack taunted, his voice steady despite the exertion. Zarnak growled, his frustration palpable. But Jack didn't give him a chance to retaliate. He focused on the path ahead, his mind and body working in harmony. As he crossed the finish line, a cheer erupted from the crowd. Jack had completed the course in record time. The final challenge was a debate, testing their knowledge and quick thinking. Jack faced off against Zarnak, the topic revolving around the ethical implications of using advanced technology. Zarnak started, his arguments sharp and biting, but Jack countered each point with calm, well-reasoned responses. He drew on his own experiences, emphasizing the importance of balance and responsibility. The audience listened intently, many nodding in agreement. "You think you know so much, human," Zarnak spat, his composure sliving. "You don't belong here." Jack met his gaze steadily. "I belong here just as much as anyone. It's not about where you come from, but what you bring to the table." The judges deliberated, then announced their decision. Jack was declared the winner. The hall erupted in applause, a wave of acceptance washing over him. Even some of Zarnak's own allies begrudgingly clapped. Zarnak stormed off the stage, his defeat obvious. Jack stood tall, the weight of his victory settling in. He had proven himself, not just through brute force, but through intellect, strategy, and heart. As the crowd dispersed, Reloth approached, a broad smile on his face. "You did it, Jack. You really did it." Jack nodded, a mix of relief and pride swelling within him. "We did it, Reloth. I couldn't have done it without you. Rayloth's eyes sparkled. This is just the beginning. Imagine what we can achieve together. Jack looked around the grand hall, feeling a true sense of belonging for the first time. The road ahead was still uncertain, but he knew he had friends, allies, and a place among the stars. He was ready for whatever came next. Jack stood on the observation deck, staring out at the vast expanse of space. The stars glittered like diamonds against the dark void, a reminder of how far he had come. The grand hall below was bustling with students preparing for the final ceremony of the term. Jack's victory in the competition had earned him respect, but more importantly, it had solidified his place at the Interstellar High School. Rayloth joined him, his blue skin glowing softly in the starlight. "You ready for this?" he asked, his tone light, but his eyes serious. Jack nodded, a smile playing on his lips. "More than ever. Thanks for having my back." Rayloth grinned. "Always, my friend. Now, let's go. They're waiting for you." As they descended to the hall, Jack felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The headmaster had called for a special assembly to recognize the achievements of the term. Jack had a feeling he was in for a surprise. The headmaster, a tall figure with an aura of wisdom and authority, stepped onto the stage. The hall fell silent. "Today, we honor those who have shown extraordinary dedication and courage," he began. His gaze settled on Jack. "Jack, please join me on stage." Jack walked up, his heart pounding. He stood beside the headmaster, feeling the weight of every eye in the room. "This term, we witnessed remarkable feats," the headmaster continued. "One student, in particular, has not only excelled academically but has also demonstrated resilience and integrity. Jack, your actions have set a new standard for what it means to be a student at our institution." The hall erupted in applause. Jack felt a surge of pride and humility. He had fought hard for this moment, and it felt surreal. The headmaster handed Jack a medal, its surface engraved with intricate designs. "This is a symbol of your achievements and a reminder that you belong here." Jack accepted the medal, his hands steady. "Thank you, headmaster. This means a lot." As the applause died down, Jack addressed the assembly. "I came here unsure of myself, feeling like an outsider. But through challenges and with the support of friends like Rayloth, I've learned that it's not about where you come from but what you contribute. We all have a place here." He looked over at Zarnok, who stood at the back of the hall, his expression unreadable. "Even our toughest adversaries can teach us valuable lessons." Zarnok gave a curt nod, a gesture of reluctant respect. Jack appreciated the gesture, small as it was. After the ceremony, students crowded around Jack, offering congratulations and warm words. The feeling of acceptance was overwhelming but gratifying. Rayloth clapped Jack on the back. "You did good, Jack. Ready for next term?" Jack laughed. "Absolutely. There's no stopping us now." That evening, as the festivities continued, Jack found a quiet corner to reflect. The journey had been challenging, filled with moments of doubt and fear, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. He had grown, learned, and forged bonds that would last a lifetime. Staring out at the stars once more, Jack felt a profound sense of belonging. He was no longer just a human in an alien school. He was a valued member of a diverse and vibrant community, ready to face whatever the future held. With a final look at the endless expanse of space, Jack whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning."